Hi and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147. I do apologise if you end up hearing the dog barking in the background. The girls have got some friends round and Luna doesn't like other people. So she's having a moment. But I want to get this video filmed before I am out this afternoon, because tomorrow is launch prep time to make sure I've got everything ready to pack. But we are on sort of the top colour section. So I have peeled back and adjusted. This ends up being pretty much a full section of cover paper. So this one sort of finishes here, but of course it's a little bit over because there's less colours in this one. So I thought we can well and truly get a sort of good size section done in today's WIP and Waffle, because I shouldn't be dipping in and out of colours that often. So I'm going to start with my red ones. Because then that whole tray will be completely done. It is my red, blue and yellow symbols, but I only have a red symbol in this section. I do have my light pad underneath. It's not actually on at the moment. I don't know whether I'll need it on for this one because I've not got as many, I suppose, dark symbols or maybe more confusing symbols in this one, because there's just less of them. So there's no need to hunt out some, but I thought I'll put the light pad there just in case I need it. But I hope everybody is having a wonderful week, getting everything done that they want to get done, or not done if that's the case. And I've got chance to diamond paint, I suppose, got chance for a little bit of me time. So I do have comments, questions, etc. to go through. So we'll start with a Busy Lizzie. She says she loves how this canvas is coming along. She says she has a couple from Diamond Art Studio that she is excited to work on. She says she's curious as to whether I would be interested in doing a piece from the one with Diamond Art. She says their pieces are gorgeous and the shipping is around £3 to £5 depending on if you buy 1 or 2 kits. She said they are heavily confetti, but it's worth it in the end. And she said it's one of the companies that she's not seen me unbox or work on. It's one I've heard occasionally, like I've heard of them occasionally, but I must admit I haven't gone and had a look. I will try and fit in sometime to go and have a look and have a browse. If one catches my eye to the point of I need to have it, rather than I like it, then maybe 1 or 2 will make it to my basket. But I will go and have a look. It's not a company that's reached out to me in any way, or a company that when I was, I suppose, more purchasing canvas or more heavily purchasing diamond paintings. It wasn't one that got on my radar at that point, so therefore I'm on their email list, or it's still on my radar or anything like that. So yeah, it's because I haven't been actively looking for paintings recently. It's not one that I've seen because I'm trying to get my stash down rather than up too much, though Aura Loa haven't helped that. Bless them. I do love their paintings, but I do have a few to unbox from them. One of them starting tomorrow, which I think the first one I've picked to unbox, I am pretty sure there are a couple of people for sure that will absolutely love them. So apologies in advance, Jackie. I definitely think it's one that you will love. Though I could be wrong, but I do think it is. So yeah, I'll go and have a look. If one catches my eye as, you know, an absolute fall in love, then I will add one to my stash. Otherwise, it's more likely to be once my stash has got quite a bit lower before I start looking at building it up again a little bit more. Because I do get too overwhelmed with too many in my stash. And I know I am blessed in the fact that I do have more than many, but I do have a lot less than many too, and I'm trying to get it to a happy place for me, so that I don't feel too overwhelmed. And I keep, you know, the love for everything that's in my stash and get to feel as though I do get to work on those paintings that I love, preferably soon enough after I get them. I did actually love it when my stash was only a couple, and I could just, you know, I knew the next 1 or 2 paintings that I would be working on. So yeah, I'm trying to get it to that happy place. She said it's only a suggestion. She says, so if she doesn't want to, if I don't want to, she understands, but they've made changes and she highly recommends them personally. I am more than happy to go and have a look. More than happy to have a look at them and see if any jump out at me. I just don't want to add to my stash, I suppose, just because it's a company I've not tried before, rather than because it you know, it being something that I fell in love with, if that makes sense. That's sort of the stance I'm trying to take at the moment, is adding paintings that I love more than anything. I still have quite a few paintings set aside for a giveaway during June Waffle. So I'll be setting that up. I'll also do a pass through my stash just in case there is anything else I want to add, just to help keep that, I suppose, toned down a little bit. But yeah, I'm loving all the paintings in my stash at the moment, and just loving working through them bit by bit. I do get quite excited when I'm getting closer to the end. I'm very excited that I'm getting closer to the end of this one. However, I do have a big painting on the go, so I think it will be a bit before I can work on this one off camera and get it to the, you know, to really near the end of being finished. I adjusted the cover paper on this one today because of course we finished off a row last time, so I adjusted the cover paper to get my 2 rows again, and I very nearly got out another pack of cover paper of something that would complement the daisies to be able to get rid of the clear cover completely, but then I did remember it needs to get folded, it needs to get rolled up and in its box. So 2 sheets of cover paper, I can still roll it and pop it in its box week on week. If I put 4 rows of cover paper on, I couldn't. But that's how far we are off. 4 rows of cover paper, 7 on each row. So 28 sections off. Which, if I was only working on it on a Thursday, that would not be finished by June Waffle. But we'll see how quick I finish my current or a lower, as to whether this one can have a few sessions where I work on it through the week and speed ahead a little bit. Just going through, just finding the next sort of batch of Walking in the Rain WIP and Waffle comments, because I am up to date pretty much on WIP and Waffle comments for Walking in the Rain, but I am not for my Sunday WIP and Waffle. I need to have a really long Sunday WIP and Waffle sometime soon when I can fit it in, because I have loads of comments. Blossom Chops says she loves my late night rambles. Thank you. This one is actually an afternoon, so it's not going to be as much of a ramble as my late night ones. Megan's doing a few things, sort of pulling together lists of things that have been purchased over launch today. So I've set her off doing all of that and compiling everything. And I'm doing this WIP and Waffle. And then I'm going to my appointment. And then when I get back, we're going to have a look at what we can start prepping for the week. So yeah, it's not a late night one. I figured I was better getting it done in the daytime today. Arisa Ortega says, thank you for another waffle. She says, for the girl who uses a 12 placer, she says, check out the 15 one. She says, that is a game changer for big blocks of colour. She said, and the coffee chat. She says, yesterday she fell asleep with a dark coffee in her hand. She was extra tired. She made a coffee, sat on the couch and fell asleep. I'm guessing the coffee didn't have time to kick in at all. Oops. That's if it does kick in and actually work for you. In relation to waking you up anyway. Kaz, she says she's having a good day so far. She says, though, hubby and herself are flying back from Benidorm this evening. Well, I hope you had an amazing time. I am pretty sure there is a comment later on. It's one that's quite recently come in as I'm filming this, about what time they got in from the airport. But I hope you had a wonderful time, Kaz. Alice says, please can you show us all your completed paintings? Ooh, that one might be a bit trickier. It's not a no, but it might be a bit trickier. I do know where all my 30 by 40 or smaller paintings are. They are pretty much all in display books, though I do have a few that are just on black card because I need to pick up another A3 display book. So I do have quite a few. I know where all of those are. I know where my sort of 40 by 50-ish size ones are because I have an A1 art folder sort of thing that they're stored in. Which in my tips and tricks series, 100 tips and tricks, I sort of show there my display books and how I store some of my bigger ones. The ones that will actually be harder for me to get hold of, and this is why it's not a no, but it is something I need to basically partly pull apart the shop for, would you believe? But I do have a few of my really big completed ones that I tend to roll up and put in their boxes. Some of those are on the top of the bookcase in my craft room and I can grab those fairly easily. However, some of them are actually on the bookshelves in the shop behind some acrylic drawer units because the boxes are exactly the right sort of width to hold those acrylic drawers out to sit nicely across the front of the bookcases. So they're there so that when I do open and close the drawers, which I'm constantly doing as I'm packing orders, I don't end up pushing them all the way back into the shelf and making it harder to get things out of the top drawers. So yeah, quite a few of my completed paintings are behind those drawers and they're the ones that are a bit harder to get out, but I will put it on my videos ideas list, and if I am able to carve out the time, because that's more what it is, it's the time to pull them all out and pull them together to then be able to film the video and then have the time to put them all back. which is more likely to happen now the weather's getting nicer. I always get more done when the weather's nicer, so there is more chance, but it may take a bit for me to do it, but I say I'll pop it on my list today. Right, let's do this number 2, because there is only a few of them. And I know where that symbol is straight away in my case. Letters and numbers and things are always an easy one for me to grab. I was thinking about working case by case or tray by tray out of my actual case. But I think it might be easier for me to work by colour. So that one, it looks like a crook, but it's actually like a pinhead. So let's get this brighter one done. Marilyn, she says she got her order from my shop today. She says she loves the cover papers. They are adorable. I love them all. She says, and the logbook. She says, a great big thank you from Mississippi, United States. Well, you enjoy them. It's amazing all the different parts of the globe. Our cover paper, logbook and trays, etc. have all hit now. I do keep meaning to see if I can get some sort of map to show every country. Or maybe even every state. We do send a lot to the states, so maybe we should cover each state as well. But yeah, it just makes me so happy that you guys love all the sort of designs that we come up with for different things, and that they're useful to you as well. Grayla Gran, she says, hitting pause. She says she's just realised that the symbols on Walking in the Rain look a lot like the symbols on the Heaven and Earth Design Crown Jewel canvas. She says they were a pain to organise. She says so different than other companies she typically works on. It's possibly down to the software. I don't know the software that each company uses. I can guess, but I don't know for sure. But I'm guessing it's something to do with that software and the symbols that are available in that software. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but I find it's not too bad in the long run. But yeah, there's just so many different symbols out there, and sometimes the company that produces, say, the chart originally or the design will use a certain set of symbols, and sometimes then the manufacturer will change those symbols to something else. And yeah, sometimes it can be very hard getting the right sort of middle ground for symbols, for sure. Because yeah, there's just so many, so many. Lady Dax, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she can't see a picture on the group of me showing my trays and symbol order for Walking in the Rain. She said, have I missed it? As soon as Lady Dax posted that comment, it was actually a comment that did come through to me on email. So most comments come through to me on email, and I'll do a quick scan read, and then I save them for the WIP and Waffle. But sometimes if there's quite a lot of comments left at once, YouTube doesn't email me them all. But luckily, Lady Dax's comment was one that emailed, because it made me realise that while I finished last week's WIP and Waffle, and I did take the pictures like I said I was going to, I made sure I didn't put my trays and pots away until I had taken the picture. I completely forgot to post them. I took the picture while I was in the middle of doing, you know, I was doing a few other things. I was tidying up from one video, setting up for another, pottering about. I was like, right, take these pictures. Tried to take them in here under the studio lights, the filming lights, but the way the light was shining on some of them, some of the symbols weren't clear. So I took them into the conservatory, got the symbols in the daylight so that you could actually see them, which I figured would be helpful. Noticed that my phone, as I'd taken it, had managed to do a couple of the pictures upside down. I don't know if you noticed that on iPhone. Sometimes you need to tilt your phone up to say, I want my picture this way, as you then hold it over a picture that you're taking, if you're taking it from above. So I was like, right, I need to turn those pictures round before I post them. I'll do that in a bit. Tidied up from the video, started another one, all the rest of it. Potted around the house doing whatever I was doing and completely forgot to post them to Facebook. Even last weekend, I got all the videos edited, sorted, exported from my editing software, uploaded to YouTube. I just set them to upload in a bulk upload. And then promptly had to keep reminding myself all week to actually put all the YouTube bits on and schedule the videos. So I think I did Mondays on Monday, and then on Tuesday I finally had the time to do the rest of the week. But yeah, it's been one of those. So there's been a couple of times through the week I've gone, oh yeah, I've got those pictures, I need to do them, and then completely forgotten. But they are up there now. So that comment came through on email, which made me go, ah, and I put them up straight away. I think there was even one point through the week I edited the photos and got them round the right way and picked which ones I wanted to put on Facebook, and then got distracted by something and they never actually got uploaded. But yes, they are in the group now if you do like to see how I sort my symbols. Some of it may be a matter of personal preference. This symbol is an exact sort of opportunity. I have this in with my, it's sort of after my squares, but it's sort of in my mix of different types of symbols, this one. But this symbol could also be considered an L if you think of cursive writing, like a lowercase L. So this symbol is a prime example of you need to go by what you think when you look at a symbol. So this symbol here that is I and S, it's sort of a line with sort of a squiggle on the top. To me, I see an S when I look at that, even though it is not really an S. If I had this the right way up, it is a line with a squiggle on the top. But I see the S in it before I see all the rest. So I've actually put that symbol in my alphabet in with my letter S. So I actually have 5 different letter S's. I have the letter S the right way, I have the squiggle on its side, I have the line with the squiggle, I have the dollar sign, and I have the S that sort of also has a fat bit in the middle. So I have 5 different S's in my alphabet because of what I see when I first look at it. Whereas this one, I've not thought L when I've kitted it up. I may see an L in it now, and therefore if I kit it up, whenever I kit up outside the sweet shop, I may decide to put it in with my L's. But again, it will depend on what I see when I first look at it. So do bear that in mind. Even if you're looking through the symbols, there may be symbols that you think of something different to me, and neither is the right way or the wrong way. In fact, the right way is the way that is right for you. and how you view the symbols, not how anybody else does. So hopefully my sort of pictures of how my symbols are laid out will help you to sort of get started and maybe do it in a way that suits your brain. But yeah, it's up there now. Josie Ann says it is coming out beautifully, which it is. We're definitely in a bit more of a blocky one today though. It was very bitty last week's section, but we're hitting some of these gorgeous colours for the skies now. She says she can't wait to start working on hers. She says she is hoping to have Outside the Sweet Shop done by the end of the month. See, I can't wait to work on Outside the Sweet Shop as well. I've got a Heaven and Earth design to do in between, so it may be that I don't get to start on that one till possibly even next year. I guess we will see how it goes, but yeah, I've always loved the Outside the Sweet Shop ever since it was released. It's been like, I need. That was definitely an I need image. So yeah, I'm really rather excited to be able to work on that one, and I think it will help when I kit that one up, the things I've learned doing this one. Like actually the colour of symbols being treated separately to the black symbols. I think it's going to make it a lot easier to kit up Outside the Sweet Shop, because I've learned what sort of symbols jump out at me and stuff with this one. Pam, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she finally got moved into her apartment. Woo woo, exciting times. She says she's found out after she's moved in that there are a lot of homeless people that are always around their apartment building. Oh, and also people that do drugs outside of it. She says, and you don't want to be outside at night. She says there are a lot of bars in the neighbourhood also. She says your diamond painting is coming out so good. She says she likes to watch me diamond paint. She says she has a week and a half to catch up on her YouTube friends. Well, you take care and take the steps that you need to ensure that you're safe with things happening outside. I don't know the best way to help with that, but do make sure you look after you and yours. Right, I need some more. I'm trying to be good when I need more and not make myself use up all the diamonds in my pot, in my tray first, because I spend so much time chasing the last few diamonds away or getting them to sit the right way up that I end up wasting a load of time. So I'm trying to train myself, never too old to learn. So I'm trying to train myself that when I'm getting low on diamonds and I know I'll need more, to just tip more in and get over myself. Mysterious Days, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she's watching this to unwind the night before her social studies test tomorrow. She says she feels prepared and she has studied today regardless, as she wanted to get a last minute sort of review in. She said she meant to watch this much earlier than at 10 p.m, but she ended up taking a 4-hour nap unintentionally. Naps will be the danger. See, that's one thing I can't do in the day. It is very, very rare that I will ever take a nap. I did occasionally used to when all the kids were a lot younger. And they used to take sort of their afternoon nap and I would try and grab 20 minutes. and I'd have to set an alarm for the school run, but it has been years since I've done that, and that must have been desperation, because I always feel worse after waking up from a nap. So I just don't bother now, because I just know that if I take a nap, the rest of the day's a write-off, to be honest. She says she's working on Moonlight Bath. She says, and she forgot how huge it was. She says, in other news, she finally ordered a tray set. She's ordered the olive green one. She says the olive green, the colour really grows on you. Yes, it is a darker colour, so it isn't an immediate as much I love it type colour for the tray. However, it is a gorgeous colour tray to work with. So yeah, it is definitely one that grows on you. She said, and it's in America and it is on its way to her. She says hopefully it only takes a few more days before she can get hold of one of those coveted trays. They are gorgeous. It's probably with you. Well, maybe it's with you, or if not, it'll be with you very soon. It should be with you by the time this video goes up. As I'm reading this comment, the comment was only left yesterday. But hopefully it's with you by the time the video goes up. She says on Wednesday, she says when we went to file taxes, she says she got to shop. It was much needed as clothes didn't fit her. And she actually found 2 pairs of jeans and 2 cute shirts. Well done on finding 2 pairs of jeans. I hate shopping for trousers. Absolutely hate it with a passion. So I will wear mine until they have holes in them. And then when I do tend to go shopping, I try and get as many pairs as I can so that I don't have to do it again. She says though she does still need to buy some more stuff. She says maybe next week she says she can work towards taking her laptop to Best Buy, which is an American electronics store. Yeah, we had Best Buy here for a while. It didn't last a huge length of time. I mean, I enjoyed it while it was here because I did get an employee discount for working for Carphone Warehouse that sort of partnered with them or something. I don't quite know. Anyway, I did get an employee discount for a while. So I quite enjoyed Best Buy for the short time that it was here, but it didn't last long. She says, and have the Geek Bar, an Apple affiliated repair service, can see if the reason why her MacBook Air won't charge is simply due to some water damage in the charging port. She says it worked normally until she spilled some soda. Ooh, soda's not good for electronics. In the port in the middle of the night when she'd only had the laptop a week. Ouch. And forgot to move it to alongside her iPad. She said, fingers crossed it is just a charging port repair that's only between $50 and $250. She said if there's motherboard damage, then she'll probably need a new laptop because that is a costly repair. She says also she is a natural multiplacer by nature. She tends to use a 4 placer on her rounds and a 7 placer on her squares. She says she can do more, but it does require too much adjustment when it is easier for her to do less but faster. Yeah, and that's sometimes how I feel, especially when potentially flipping between multi-placing or not. So there is a few places here I could potentially multi-place for sure. But by the time I've figured out if it's sort of, I suppose, worth multi-placing and go, oh yeah, actually I could multi-place here, and switch gears on my brain, I could have single placed. Especially when chatting and doing a WIP and waffle, I find it easier to not have to think about multi-placing and to just single place. Which is why I'm continuing to single place, because my brain doesn't have to think about single placing in the same way. Kim says, yeah, she says she can see what symbols I'm working on and see when I miss one. She says because she zooms in on her iPad 1.5 times the original. She says she enjoys watching me dotting and listening to the comments. So she normally tunes in when she's not doing anything else. Oh, bless you, Kim. I bet I drive you batty sometimes, especially on some confetti sections, because it is always easier to see sections that other people have missed than ones you've missed yourself. So I can imagine that I drive you absolutely batty with some of the ones I miss, because I drive myself batty. As soon as I see them, I'm like, how on earth did I miss that? It is right there next to something else I've placed or nearby, and I've just managed to miss it completely. Absolutely drives me doolally. Kim, she also says, glitter. She says her co-workers knew how much she hated the stuff. Every time kids' crafts would be created at their library with that torturous stuff, she said they knew to keep it away from her. Although she did have a co-worker who loved glitter and would throw that stuff in holiday decorations at the library, there was always a good-spirited argument between them whenever she brought that glitter out. I think glitter can be beautiful. It really, really can. But I do think it has a time and a place. And it's not as often as it comes out. It's not as often as it shows an appearance. And I think if it's encapsulated in something so that it doesn't shed, so whether it's encapsulated in epoxy or just on something that will stop the glitter shedding, then it's a beautiful thing. Just needs to be trapped in. Well and truly. Inga, she says, hi everyone. She says all craft hobbies are not equal, she says, for some reason. She knows how to sew, how to knit, and how to crochet, but she has no patience for them. She says so many started and abandoned projects. She says, and yet she can cross stitch and diamond paint for hours on end. She says it's the opposite for her mum, who loves to knit but despises cross stitch, and her grandma used to crochet loads of really decorative doilies, but crocheting toys sure are cute, she says, but she will have to do with watching other people make them for her. Know your strengths. Know your strengths, Inga. That's what that is. But yeah, I love to dabble in anything sort of crafty, but scrapbooking had my love for years and years. But as the kids have grown older and there is not as many photos, not as many cute photos, things started to sort of die off and wane off a little bit with scrapbooking. I think because of that. And I know many people scrapbook other subjects, and they'll scrapbook adults in their life and themselves, and all for it. But I started scrapbooking, and the reason I scrapbooked was for photos of the kids. So I think because that was my reason I started, when that waned off, the interest waned off a bit. But luckily, diamond painting sort of came into my life at the right time and just slowly started taking over until now, when it's fully taken over pretty much every aspect of my life. Mysterious Days, she says it's watch 2. She says to wake up the morning of the test, she says, before she has to get her breakfast and get ready. She says she does believe that there is a taste in the difference between decaf and normal coffee. She says to herself, she described half caffeine coffee, because she worked as a nanny and drank coffee at work. She says the mum worked from home and had to have half caffeine coffee, and she felt it needed a lot more creamer and sugar. Though she tends to find hot coffee gross in general. She says she has drank the same cold brew coffee for years. Stock cold brew, she says, but the blonde recipe. Vanilla coffee syrup and dairy-free half and half. She says she's also discovered she has a dislike of any Colombian coffee. Something about the taste, she says, is gross to her. She says if only she knew what stock used, so that she didn't have to pay $6.99 for 2.5 to 3 servings of coffee. Guessing that's an American brand, because that one's not made it over here that I know of. She says she only tends to have 1 coffee a day. She said sometimes 2, but she does end up drinking Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, or Alaninu, which is a healthy energy fitness drink. She says that it has 200 milligrams of caffeine in it per can. I know some people measure their caffeine. I don't think I'd even dare measure my caffeine consumption in a day. I don't think I want to know. I'll keep with the ignorance on that one. Thanks very much. It's probably safer for me. Right. Oh, I have 2 symbols left. I've just tipped diamonds everywhere. So let's get those picked up. I think then, are they both in the same tray? Oh, they are both in the same tray. Okay, so let me pop one tray out the way. I may as well just do these 2, and then I can just tip out my last colour and fill in all the rest. Just 2 little going into green, and then get my circle, nice bright one. So we've got nice bright lime greens and stuff all going in here. Carrie, she says hello again. She says another great waffle. Thank you, Carrie. She says she has to be honest and say, she says with all of her medical issues flaring up, her depression has gotten pretty bad. Doesn't surprise me, but I do feel for you. She says they increased one of her meds, so they're really hoping it starts to get better. She says your videos are helping me to cope with it. She says, so thank you. She says she started on a steroids burst today to help with the migraines. She says she's just trying to keep keep on keeping on. She says, one day at a time. She says, thank you again for the support and everything you do for us in the community. Oh, well, I am here for you, Carrie, as are the rest of us. It must, you know, especially if you've got medical issues that either, you know, you're trying to find out what the problem is, or whether it's something that, you know, you're having to learn to live with. Either way, it's not surprising that it gets you down, you know, from time to time, or from a longer time to a longer time. It's sort of bound to happen. Hopefully the steroids will help you, even if it just helps you get a bit of a burst of energy and feel as though you've got maybe something a little bit more out of the day and feel a little bit better. But don't beat yourself up for feeling down. You have the right to feel down. I think that's something that a lot of us beat ourselves up for when we're having a down day or an off day, or a, you know, I've done nothing kind of day. That's the kind of thing that always gets me when I've not been productive. I love being productive. When I've been productive in a day, I'm happy. When I've not been, it can, you know, I can start beating myself up for it. And the amount of times I have to say to myself, well, look, you know, if you're not going to have a less productive day or a down day, then when do you have any time off? Like, you're allowed to have down days, down times. And the thing is allowing yourself to have that time, but then giving yourself a cut off and saying, okay, you might still feel down, but now we're going to try and do something a bit better. So I'm glad my videos can help you feel that bit better. And hopefully the med change and stuff will start you on the path to better health and therefore better mindset regarding that. But allow yourself time to wallow before you then give yourself a kick in the ass. And I think sometimes that is the thing, is allowing yourself that time to wallow, that time to be upset. But then telling yourself after a certain amount of time, okay, now what's next? What's going to change? What's going to help? What am I going to do to make myself feel better? And if that involves sitting and diamond painting, then by goodness, do it, Carrie. Sit down, diamond paint, feel better, feel more yourself. Even if you then move, do something else, something small, and then go back to diamond painting. But yeah, take care of yourself, because having different medical things or different things going on in your life even can knock you for six. But know that, especially if you look back to the past, there are probably things that have knocked you for six before, and you've come out the other side. So just keep reminding yourself that you're coming out the other side. Kaz, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, it's me again. This is her flight time coming back. She said hubby and herself landed at 1 a.m. this morning. And didn't get home till 3 a.m. See, that's where I'm glad that I'm only half an hour away from an airport. So it's so much easier when you get home to know that you've only got 20 minutes to half an hour until you get home. Landing at 1 and not getting home till 3. Well, you rest up today. Perfect excuse. Or the past day when you wrote this comment, should I say. Rest up easy. It is the perfect chance to rest and relax after getting in that early, and just have a slow day. If you want to feel like you've done something, just put one load of washing on, you'll be reading. You'll have made a start, that'll count. Right, and that actually was the last comment that I had as I'm filming this on walking in the rain. So that worked out to be perfect timing in relation to the video. So let me just shift stuff out the way. I decided to use the limited pen and tray for today. I don't know if there'll be any left once this video goes up, but I thought let's get another day in of the limited tray before I go back to using stock ones next week. But there we go, we have a nice batch of colour. I think next week's is pretty much the same. If I peel back, because I will probably make it a full sheet, looks like we're starting to get a little bit, oh that's the sun or moon up there, and then it looks like that might be the top of the umbrella. So yeah, we have quite a bit of a blocky section to go through next time. I obviously didn't line up this paper right because there is only 3 of that symbol, and I did that in this section. If I'd have known, I would have sectioned it off there. But anyway, that is next week's problem now. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.